projects. You don't know what type of day it is. It could be your last day waking up, you feel me? Gotta think about that. It could be judgment day or anything. Like, look, the district for real, right there, like, yeah, people from over there be walking to this store over here, like, nah, my mentality changed, though. Like, I feel like my mind got real messed up, though. Like, my mind got real messed up. Like, it ain't the same how it used to be, though. Like, once you see certain stuff, your body just changed. People be like, you changed it, but you ain't know you changed, though. It just be like a shift in your energy and stuff, but you know, so you gotta move a certain way, put it like that. But yeah, my mentality changed a lot. It changed a lot.
So you gotta move a certain way, meaning you gotta...
Like I see things from a different perspective than a normal human, put it like that. It'd be real good, like I feel safe here the most. Safest place in America, man.
Reports of a shooting shortly before 2 this afternoon.
Police responded to St. Paul Street in Gilpin Court.
Popped up out the back of the bed of that truck and with an Uzi sprayed more than 100 rounds off.
Gilpin Court is in Jackson Ward, but the historic designation of Jackson Ward in 1978 rendered the northern side of Jackson Ward excluded from the historic district. So the Interstate 95 actually bisected Jackson Ward by intention. Nearly 2,000 families had their homes taken for the unnecessary building of Interstate 95 from the Chamberlain Parkway Bridge to the river. Because there's a natural valley called the Chaco Valley, Interstate 95 for that portion could have been put in the valley.
And like they gotta really see this, like, for the community.
Hey, twirl.
Hey, what are they doing here, bro? You told him it was a vlog today? What
He's spinning this bitch.
Oh.
It's a hot zone, Razing.
Fast nigga, we got a new pack, and the K56 just threw one back. With the kids to their bricks, they run through the back. Try to meet on the hill, but it turned to a track. So like 3 of them pills, I ain't talking to Zach.
This shit whack, 12 can't stop shit. 12 can't stop.
Nobody in the parking lot and shit.
Oh, okay.
Don't worry about nobody.
Yeah.
Everybody just do a lot of talking though. There's a lot of traffic though.
The construction of I-95 resulted in the displacement of 10% of Richmond's black population. It also meant that many of those long-term black property owners, the folks that had built houses and built lives, lost that capital.
Once referred to as the Harlem of the South, in the 1950s, Jackson Ward was split in half by Interstates 95 and 64, limiting access, growth, and connectivity. At the time, it displaced 10% of the city's black population.
The area was split in half by the construction of I-95 and I-64.
Hey, make sure y'all know the knock next time, man.
Before you walk in the trap, you better knock.
You have the impact, the financial impact of people who lived there, who lived in Carver, who lived in Navy Hill, because this was not just Jackson Ward. It was a whole series of black communities that were impacted by the construction of I-95. Looking at the 1890s through the 1920s, 30s, that period, you begin to see some of the policies that ultimately lead to things like redlining.
And it all depends on where you live.
Researchers at Case Western tell News 5 this is no coincidence. These neighborhoods were targeted.
There is a forgotten and dark history as to how one of Denver's neighborhoods was formed. It was called redlining.
Redlining is both a term and a practice.
That process starts much, much earlier in terms of how do we control people's ability to move from community to community. Jim Crow was in place long before redlining. Redlining becomes a more legal and formal way of really implementing what was already in place, but did have these impacts on neighborhoods as neighborhoods got redefined or defined as particular kinds of neighborhoods.
Enter the Homeowners Loan Corporation. The HOLC created residential security maps. Green meant best area, best people, aka businessmen. Blue meant good people, like white-collar families. Yellow meant a declining area with working-class families. And red meant detrimental influences, hazardous.
Projects, I guess, because it's ran down, people thugging out here. I used to live right there, too. 1100.
So redlining is about investing in white areas and disinvesting in redlined, often African-American areas. Like these maps certainly reflect the landscape of inequality, and they reflect the practices that they represent, are a window into the ways that the government and private industry, we're doing that, right? Like we're trying to keep wealthy areas wealthy and white, and keep poor areas poor, and often those poor areas are African-American areas.
There's a huge racial disparity in the net worth of Americans. In 2016, the median net worth of black households was about $17,000. For white households, that figure was $171,000, about 10 times as much. One of the drivers of that wealth gap is redlining.
You have a white family and you have an African-American family. The white family inherits wealth that is passed down from generation to generation to generation. After the Civil War, the black family inherited debt, lack of home ownership because you could not receive a bank loan.
This is ubiquitous everywhere. Richmond is by no means alone. You can look at the same patterns in Norfolk or Philadelphia or Kalamazoo, you take your pick.
In North Philly right now, the Blumberg Project, the heart of North Philly, a place where a lot of people wouldn't even come. A lot of favorite rappers, they wouldn't dare come down here. It got so bad that the feds we can't really stop what's going on, but we can just knock your project down. Man, they really took our projects and tore it down and broke it down the way they really wanted to do it.
Transportation policy, industrial policy is used to buttress segregation, so highways are often put where they're put. This is not primarily the purpose, but they're put where the most vulnerable populations were. So often those populations were African Americans, and so African American neighborhoods often get destroyed and razed.
Reporting from Richmond magazine revealed engineers at the time did not want to disrupt the suburbs, but instead they razed the neighborhoods filled mostly with black and brown people. The highway through Richmond took 180 acres of city-owned land, 210 acres of privately owned land, and that includes 726 homes and businesses.
The one here is Jackson Ward, right? Jackson Ward was a bigger place. And now we have Gilpin Court, which sometimes you can think of that as Jackson Ward. Some people do think of that as Jackson Ward, but we also separate these two things and think of the area south of 95 as Jackson Ward, and the area north of 95 that we think of that as Gilpin Court.
It was rough. It was real rough.
Yeah.
It's real rough out here. Man, it's real rough. Hey, long live my nigga Dale too, man. Long live Dale, man. I don't know, shit. You wake up here, you think about you don't know how your day gonna turn out.
Yeah.
The projects, you don't know what type of day it is. It could be your last day waking up, you feel me? Gotta think about that. Brace yourself for any obstacle you gotta face.
Yeah.
People know what's going on out here.
Yeah.
I mean, my brother right there, man.
Where you up?
I ain't doing nothing, man.
I just got up.
Hey, tell her, hey, we just talk about the question, how you feel when you first wake up, man.
It's time.
What's on your mind? What's on your mind?
Wash my face, brush my teeth, get some money.
Man, I'm ready to walk this whole zone, man. We're going up here. Yeah, man, I just told him. Yeah, this is real early, too. We really outside early. You gotta show them the cameras, like, shit real bad. Cause you know, anything can happen early, anything can happen night. Yeah, they different. Cause they don't know what's going on over here in the hood. We live about 2 minutes away from them. They don't know what's going on.
Big thing that was one big theme that community members brought up over and over again was that the project needed to elevate and expand Black ownership, history, and culture. They also talked a lot about reparations to address past harms and how to ensure that Reconnect Jackson Ward and another project we're doing, the Jackson Ward Community Plan for redeveloping Gilpin, how those benefit Black Americans.
According to the feasibility study, the cost of the project could be anywhere from $100 million to $400 million. This Reconnecting Communities grant will go to creating more accurate visual representations of what the freeway cap might look like.
We have 4 bridges that connect Jackson Ward over Interstate 95. We have little need for another bridge. And if it's a green space, it becomes a glorified doggy park. We need dignity and dollars over a doggy park.
According to Housing Opportunities Made Equal, or HOME, a nonprofit that works to make city housing policy fair for all, a larger, more sinister force is at work and has been for decades. The average home in a majority Black neighborhood in Richmond is worth 17% less than one in a neighborhood with identical opportunities, but where the population is less than 1% Black.
We are a private nonprofit civil rights and fair housing organization. We have actually operated in Virginia for now, I think 55 years. We have been advocating for rights, for housing rights. Our mission is to ensure equal access to housing for all people. Fair housing is the basis. We provide housing counseling.
I think the most viable solution for Jackson Ward is to identify families who lived here and families who had houses taken by eminent domain, either for the construction of the interstate or other reasons, should be compensated. I think that Jackson Ward should be intentionally resurrected as the birthplace of Black capitalism, and low interest loans and other financial incentives should be given with a priority to descendants of the families who were displaced. Reparations to families that had their homes taken.
Yeah. This is an active neighborhood. Yeah, people up here, they wake up early. You gotta get to that money, man.
Yeah.
Nobody wanna be broke. You went in yesterday with a good amount, come back and do the same thing again, repeat.
Yeah.
Repeat,
You gotta
man.
go back in with more.
Yeah. But you gotta stay level-headed, though.
Honestly, everyone has a hand in this. It bothers me that you live in a housing project and you have to pay $1,200 in rent, but you cannot afford to get you an apartment in the city of Richmond paying that much. So I give them the truth so that they can be free and they can be liberated for real and that they can live and be empowered. We are broken and we also accept broken promises, right? So if you're broken people, you're gonna accept broken promises and they never manifest, but it continues to be a repeated thing. When you're constantly living in a certain lifestyle, it's not gonna be all right. The mindset that I can't make it unless I'm in a controlled environment.
We doing good, we doing real good, man. Everybody just needs to stay focused. Comes a team, we'll make it out. You gotta get that too.
Hey, look. Hey, get close to that Joe. This is my brother right here. Hey, long little Joe. Yeah.
The only way that that mental state is gonna be broken is by giving them the truth. We have to have truth, and that's one of the major issues that I see with my people. See, there's a rooted issue to why people stay in the place that they're in. It amazes me, you know, how they have accepted a certain lifestyle knowing that they don't have to be like that, right? It's about the willingness to learn more so that you can become more. We got all these Black leaders in leadership and we're still in the same stance or we're becoming worse. Tell me about that. Why does that happen? Where's the money for funding and all of that? Where's that gone? Because nothing has manifested. As a matter of fact, it gets worse.
Yeah, I can see it. Yeah. We're gonna be up, probably be in Miami on a yacht. Just think about living lavish, you know, whole lot of money, trying to get everybody out. And we're gonna do it how we do it.
There's 100,000 people in the city of Richmond that live in homes and neighborhoods with temperatures that are elevated by as much as 8 degrees.
As far as we can detect it and observe it, we can see as much as a 20-year difference between the life expectancy in these redlined areas, even right here in Richmond.
Oh yeah, we out here though.
There's not a lot of shade out here.
Yeah, it ain't.
When we studied 108 cities across the country, we found a systematic pattern that the redline communities were today, on average, about 7 degrees hotter than their non-redline counterparts.